everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther and I am happy to be back on this channel. I'm sorry that I have not been uploading videos every week. I've been sick this week really. I'm not sure if you can hear it from my voice. This is the weekend, so like I haven't been to work since Monday. Excuse me. So I haven't been feeling too well. You're welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, I am Esther and I have been sharing my story on how I have been coping or how I have coped having a daughter with autism. If you have not subscribed, come on. I seriously don't know what you are waiting for. A lot of people are watching this video and you're not subscribing. Can you please press that subscription button now, please? And don't forget to press the notification bell because this would remind you or notify you anytime I upload a video. So today I'm going to be talking on church versus autism. I said in one of my previous videos that I would be talking, on this, and I felt this is 2020. Let's get 2020 right. So let me talk about this so we can all have our goals on how we are going to take our children to church, and if we have not been doing that, how we will gently integrate them into church. I know it's very challenging to have a special need child, and even more challenging to take them not only to church, anywhere. To take them anywhere, it's a challenge. I know that, but we cannot keep hiding them. We need to take them out. They need to socialize. They need to learn how to interact with other people apart from their family and people from their school. So that is why I thought I will be speaking on this. And also last year, I'm not sure if I said it, I'm not sure if I've said it in one of my previous videos, that last year a pastor Mrs. approached me sometimes in September, I think, and asked me if I could come, if I could attend their women's conference in October, I think, and share my experiences on autism. And I was so excited. Trust me, it was exciting. I think some of the ladies in our church have been watching my videos and they felt the need to invite me to come and address some points on, special needs kids. And from what I got from them, I understood that it would be nice for me to talk on how we can deal with our children when we take them to church. Okay, one thing that I would want to mention is I go to a church that is predominantly Africans. And like I said to you, Africans don't understand autism. African and special needs children, they're like oil and water. They don't come together. They don't work together. They just don't understand. Because to them it's like a taboo. I've said it. If you have not watched one of my videos, go and watch them and you see where I explain that, they hide them in Africa. Growing up, I never saw any special need kids. So when you have a special need child, to them, they just don't understand. They think it's either they've been jazzed or there's something wrong with them. So taking a special need to church will always be a challenge. I had a lot of comments, hurtful comments about my child, about my parenting, about how I was coping and dealing with everything. A lot of comments. But one thing I will advise you, because I know some people say that too, that they go to church and they go back home very upset because of comments that people would make about their child and them and about them. It does happen. And one thing I would advise you to do, even though I know it's difficult, please just close your ears to them and face what you go to church for. Gracie was born in church. and she's always been going to church. I took her to church from day one, from when she was a baby. She started attending church. Initially, we didn't know that Gracie had autism, but one thing that I noticed initially was that when they started to play the organ, because I go to a very traditional church, we don't beat drums and all that stuff. We play the organ and we sing hymns most of the time. So when I noticed that when they started playing the organ, Gracie would scream initially, and then later on she got used to the organ, and then she loved singing. But then when they now stop, she will now start to cry. So most of my time when Gracie was growing up, we used to be outside of the church. And like I said, Gracie is 21 years old now. At the time that I was bringing Gracie up, there was no technology like as it is now. So we would always sit outside the church, and sometimes we never knew what was going on in the church. So to me, it was like a waste of time going to church at that time, because I would be outside, sitting outside of the church. And then later on, it was my husband that was doing it, because I was in the choir. So I would be part of the choir. My husband was always staying with her, and he would be outside the church. So that was how it was. But then, one thing was, I loved to take her to church because I wanted her to be part of that environment. I wanted her to get used to going to church. I wanted her to have friends at church. I just wanted her to be open to going to church. I didn't know at that time if she understood what was going on in the church. But one thing I knew was she knew all the songs that we used to sing at church. So when she comes home, she will hum those songs. So that means she was getting something one way or the other. And that motivated me to continue to take her to church. I will just mention some of the challenges that I feel that I went through. And I would like you to share your challenges with me as well. And I would share how I overcame these challenges. I seriously hope I can share all of this in one video, because there's quite a few things here. Because I've got two parts. I've got my own experiences taking Gracie to church, and I've got another part that says what we expect from our church, the support we expect from church. So, like I said, she started going to church, and I saw that she loved going to church. She enjoyed it. Initially, she wasn't happy with the crowd, but then she got settled. One of the challenges that I had, and I still have, is getting Gracie ready to go to church. Gracie is 21 years old, and I still struggle to get her ready in the morning. I don't know how many people have that issue. It's a struggle. You wear something for Gracie, she would take that off. She didn't want that. When Gracie was young, she would roll on the floor, she would scream. She would mess up her dress. We will have to go back and change. And it's still the same, even now. Gracie, she's 21, and I always like for her to choose what she wants to wear, but then she doesn't. So when I select something for her, she might just push it off. And also, what she does sometimes is, when everybody is ready to go to church, that is when she will go and sit in the toilet. She'll sit on the toilet seat, and she'll just be there. And you cannot get her up. You can't force Gracie. That's one thing I've noticed about these special kids. You cannot force them to do what they don't want to do. So she will sit on the toilet seat, and it will be like, and sometimes as you're wearing her clothes, she's taking them off. And she doesn't care. She'll just be naked, and you can't just force her to get dressed in the morning. And I'm talking of Sunday morning. So that is one of my challenges. Getting her ready, it's a struggle. And also putting her in the car and driving her to church. There was a time that she would scream, she would cry, but now she's settled. She would sit down and she would go to church. But initially, she would struggle. To get her into a car seat was a struggle. I don't know if you have experienced that, or you're experiencing that, now. When we now get to church, other people's behaviors towards not only that child, even towards you. I am going to talk about what happened to me in the past and even now. Because one thing I have noticed is, at church, it's like some people have your diary in their hands. That's the way I feel. They have a diary where they put my name and her family, and every Sunday they will tick the time we come to church. It's like going to work. When I go to work, I will clock in. And they would remind you, last Sunday you were late. The Sunday before, you came at so time. And I would like, really? They are keeping your time. I am grateful that they're not God. They're not God. They're human beings. It's only God that can keep my time. Why? Because He knows what I have been through at home before getting to church. Any Sunday that I drag my feet and I know that I caused my family to be late to church, I feel that guilt. And going to church, I don't need anyone to even add to it. It's not easy getting these children ready for church in the morning. And the fact that we try to bring them to church, honestly, thank you, Lord. I'm not asking you to commend me, but I think even it's commendable. So, please, do not worry about anyone clocking your time and worrying about what time you get to church. And then people don't really understand these children. They will just push her, and she doesn't, Gracie doesn't really have social skills. She might be going and then she'll push people, and you will see them push her back straight away. And I think it's because these guys are so clueless. They are so clueless. But one thing I need to tell people is, you need to tell these people to stop it. Because they're clueless, they're ignorant. And we need to let them know that they need to stop it. If they're not allowed to touch these children, they need to understand that these children are special needs, and all they need is love and support. So I have that challenge of people, the way people deal with my child, and the comments, and getting her ready in the morning. Another challenge is what I've said before, going to church and being an outcast, because you can't sit in church. Gracie was, she wasn't settling down, and because she wasn't settling down, they would always take her out, and I couldn't leave my child, so I would have to go. So we would sit outside in the church. Until very recently, Gracie started sitting down in church, but before she wasn't. I'm just going to show you one or two of our services, very recent one, how Gracie was at church, because now Gracie sits in the church and she sits at the back of the church. So before, Gracie was not sitting in the church. So she was, we were always at the back, and one or two people will have to be there with her. So that was a challenge for me because I was going to church and I wasn't sitting in the church and I didn't like it. And this time I was in the choir, so I would be on the stage and seeing Gracie running around and people running after her and things. It was always making me very uncomfortable. I didn't like it. But even though I did that for some years, but now I'm not in the choir anymore, so I'm able to sit with her at the back of the church, which for me it's kind of it's nice, you know. It's nice for me to be able to do that. But she's grown now. She's settled now, and I feel that I should be able to do whatever I want to do in church now, because Gracie now is able to sit down with people, you know, sitting with her. She's able to see throughout the service. The effects of people's behavior, you know, let me touch on that. The effect was that I felt the need of not going to church anymore. I was tired and sick of people making comments on you know, about my child. People not nice to us, really, generally not nice. And that really hurt me. It hurt me. And it wasn't like just me that it was hurting. It hurt my other kids. I remember my eldest daughter, she would come home and she would be very upset. She would tell me, Mommy, this uncle, this auntie did this to Gracie. I don't have it. I can't have it. I don't like it when they do this to her. So it was affecting her too. And there were times that my eldest daughter was rude to adults. And she was rude to them. Not that she wanted to be rude, but because of the way she saw them dealing with her sister, so she was angry and she would talk back at them. I felt that she was protecting her sister. And I don't think that it should get to that stage. You know, everybody should understand what it's like to have a special need child. I know they might not understand it because they are not in that situation, but come on, people need to really educate themselves and understand that these children need support, and we parents and family, we all need support. There was one time in my church that we had like a disability day. It was such a good day. And that was the day they recognized few mothers with special need child. Honestly, can you imagine the church recognizing us? I can't remember how many years ago this was. And I felt like, you know, I felt appreciated. You don't understand, you know, like the challenges that we go through, and for someone or for a church to recognize that and said, look, we recognize what we are going through and we're going to appreciate you. I'm going to see if I can find one of those pictures that we took, and I will just put a clips on it. You know, I had a crown, like they gave us like a crown, a badge. It was such a good day. And also every one of us now shared our testimonies and our experiences with everyone. And that was so educative because people said they understood what we were going through. A lot of people said, oh, I'm so sorry that I never knew this was what you were going through. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. So a lot of people don't really understand what we're going through until we share our experiences. And I think that was a good one. In my next video, when I talk about what we expect from the church, then I'm going to be sharing, or I'm going to be mentioning some points that I think the churches should please think about and do to support parents with special need children. One thing that I want everyone to know is that please don't feel the need to make any explanation to anybody. You don't owe anyone an explanation. That is what I used to do. I used to like make explanation and apologize on behalf of my daughter. I don't do that anymore. If Gracie does something that, you know, it's just her, I don't apologize. Before I used to, I'm sorry. Not anymore. That is Gracie. You should get used to it. Deal with it. Support Gracie, support me, help my family, be there for us. That is all we ask you. Nothing else. Another thing is, please don't feel alone. You're not alone in this. There are other people going through what you're going through. So like I said, when I first started, I met this lady on that group on Facebook. Her name is Heather Bench, and she wrote a book which is called I don't know if you can see, Destructing the Church with Special Needs Kids. I read this book and I seriously thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a lot of things that Heather shared here that I was able to relate to. And she said that these children, they are special need, but God made them. God made them to be special. And so therefore, we are meant to embrace them and take care of them. In my next video, I will share few things that I feel that we would expect the church to support us with. Especially with this book, reading this book and looking at my own experiences at church, I think that it is time for the church to do something. It is time for the church to do something. So your churches, I don't know, whatever church that you go to, they must have something in place to support. So in my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you the support that we expect from the church, and not only from the ministry or the church, from the congregation, from the people. One thing I want you to understand is Heather is an American. She's an American lady. I guess that the fact that you are African or American or British does not mean that everybody is aware of the effect of the negative behavior, the effect of it on us. So all those things that I've shared with you today, it does not mean, it's not because I go to an African church. Yes, Africans don't really understand disability much as Western countries. But I understand that in those days, in the past, even these Western countries did not embrace the special needs children. They used to lock them up in the house. So they got to a stage whereby now they are aware of it and they are now embracing these children. Still, it's a struggle, because in the church, it's still a struggle for people to understand what we go through when we come to church with special needs children. So I will be stopping my video today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope I did not rant a lot. I hope it's straight to the point, because I really don't want my videos to be long. I want people to be able to have time to just listen, to understand what I'm sharing, and to actually be able to take one or two things with them. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and make a comment. Please share your experiences with me. How has it been with you taking your child to church? If you are a special need mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, family, how has it been with you? Have you found it easy? Do you get support from church, or do you struggle? Share your experience with us, please, in the comment box. And don't forget to share this video with anyone that would benefit from this experience. I seriously hope that you have enjoyed it, and please do comment. I want comments. It's really good for me to have comments. When I get comments, it boosts my ego and it makes me happy, and it makes me to understand what you are thinking on the videos that I have uploaded. And also it helps me as well to plan for my next video. So yes, thank you. And if you have any idea of what you want me to share with you, please put it in the comment box below. Next week, hopefully it's going to be next week, I'm going to be uploading the video titled what we expect from our church. Until then, take care of yourself, and I will see you in my next video. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.